record. Okay, so you should have a message on your screen asking you to acknowledge the recording. Kwesi, can you unmute yourself and see whether you can speak to me, please? Thank you.
Yes, Femi, I'm able to.
And this is the point that I welcome everyone to today's session. What is it all about? Now, I'm going to disappoint a number of people. Oops, forgot to start my timer. I've got just a few minutes to start off. I'm going to disappoint a number of people because I had a request that I will be speaking tonight. Unfortunately, it's not me. So tonight we're going to be hearing from Adaora Ayoade, and she's going to be talking to us on a very dear topic, the Coachpreneur, key element for a thriving coaching practice. And you've all seen the flyer, and you've all been anxious and waiting to hear from Adaora. So before we get into Adaora and, introduce her, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge people's presence here. Now, I'm going to kindly ask everyone to come off mute. And when I start acknowledging people, if you can relate with this acknowledgement, I want you to just say, yay, or hey. Now, we're going to give it a first trial by saying Bangalore. Do we have anyone here from Bangalore? Okay, they're on their way because it's far away. Accra in Ghana.
Hey, I think I'm represented.
Yay!
Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey.
Wow. Chisinau, Moldova. They're on the way. Barcelona.
Hello.
We got Barcelona in the house. Basel, Switzerland. They're also on the way. Chennai in India. Geneva, Switzerland. Khartoum, Sudan. Lilongwe in Malawi. Slovenia in the house. We can see the hand raised.
Hey!
Hey. And the city of love, the city of love, Paris.
Can I go on?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, so it is going to be straight at there.
Wow.
Okay, someone might want to go on mute for me, please.
That's amazing.
Okay, can someone go on mute for me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Montreal, so Akron in Ohio. Kampala, Uganda. Blantyre in Malawi. The United Kingdom.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm in 2 places at once.
Republic of Ireland. United States of America.
Yay!
Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Now, I'm going to ask you one question. Which country is missing?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. And there we go. And the people from Nigeria say, yay. Thank you all. Thank you very much. That's great. Okay, now let's get moving forward. I've got 11 minutes left. Now, I'm not going to talk about ICF core values. All I want to say is that as a charter chapter, ICF Nigeria charter chapter live and breathe ICF core values. And the same thing applies with the code of ethics. So this is just a reminder, just in case people have forgotten. So I'm not going to go through it. And this is the segue for me to now start talking about our speaker for this evening. Now, just in case by chance people don't know Adaora, would you like to showcase yourself and just say, hey, here I am.
Hey, here I am.
Okay. Hey, gang, gang. Okay, so let me take this opportunity to just go through Adora's profile and introduce her properly. Coach Adaora is a distinguished figure in the field of human resources and leadership coaching, bringing over 20 years of senior level corporate experience. She holds the professional certified coach credential from the International Coaching Federation, ICF. She is a certified master trainer and assessor with the International Finance Corporation's Learning Performance Institute, LPI. Excuse me, please. The LPI is a private arm of the World Bank, and that demonstrates her extensive expertise. Now, that was a good introduction. Now, there's just one little disappointment that I feel. I didn't see any virtual reactions. People showing her some love and some clapping. Come on, let's give her some reactions, please. Thank you so much. Let's move forward and talk about her professional roles and achievements. Adaora is the Chief Executive Officer of Easy 37 Solutions Limited. Easy 37 Solutions Limited partners with top organizations, including Africa Guarantee Fund, Bank of Industry, Central Bank of Nigeria, and, once again, the International Finance Corporation. She has supported thousands of businesses and entrepreneurs globally, leading her team to facilitate nearly, catch this, nearly $1 million in financing for Nigerian businesses alone. She is an immediate past global leader, ICF Coaching Education Global Knowledge Community Leadership Team. She has made significant contributions to the ICF, particularly across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. She's a past president of ICF Nigeria Charter Chapter. And once again, people said, in this role, she successfully drove the growth and development of the coaching profession in Nigeria. She paved the way for where we are today. She's an IFC LPI certified master trainer and assessor. Adaora, please, when I grow up, I just want to be like you. I just want to have these achievements. Adora's certification with LPI, with IFC LPI, underscores her late commitment to excellence in training and performance improvement. Now, when I heard about IFC LPI, I had to go on Google to say, what do they do? IFC's International Finance Corporation, LPI is the Learning and Performance Institute. Just in case we didn't know, now we know. She's an IFC LPI certified online learning designer. Her expertise extends to designing online learning modules. Now, guess what? She hasn't stopped there. She's a member of Forbes Coaching Council, FCC. Please don't be jealous. Give her a round of applause.
Yay.
She is recognized by her prestigious FCC Forbes Coaching Council accreditation. She's also a member of the Institute of Directors. Guess what? That's where she ends. No, no, no. That's not where she ends. She is a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. And I hear you say, okay, that's all.
Yay.
No, that's not all. Adora's extensive experience includes helping organizations and leaders enhance their performance and achieve their goals. She employs a variety of methods in her coaching practice. And guess what? Here's a list of what she employs. Embedding coaching cultures through executive and leadership coaching, team coaching, group coaching, coaching skills for leaders and managers, and tailored learning and development initiatives. Her global experience spans a wide range of sectors, which include FMCG, financial services, fintech, insurance, energy, technology, telecoms, media, health, not-for-profit, and the public sector. So anyone who needs a job, you know what to do. Just reach out to Adaora. She is well connected. Let's carry on. Her publications include being a co-author of The World of Coaching and African Experience and a co-author of the Nigerian Brides Academy. Please give her a big round of applause. Let's carry on. Now we want to talk about her personal life, but not in that respect. We're not going to delve into her personal life because this is a safe space, okay? Adaora is happily married and a proud mother of 3 children. With her extensive background and dynamic approach, she continues to make significant impact in the world of business, coaching, and leadership development. If you want to get in touch with Adaora, here's her website, but I've been told the best way of reaching out to her, connect with her on LinkedIn, and she will get in touch with you. So please take a screenshot, do whatever you have to do, connect with her on LinkedIn. And this is the point that I now say a big thank you to Coach Adaora. I'm going to hand over to you. Now, here's how the evening's going to run. Adaora is going to take us through her presentation, which will take us to around about 8 p.m. And then we're going to have about 15 minutes for questions and answers. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in chat. What I will suggest is let's go with Adaora's flow end-to-end first, and then we will have dedicated space for taking questions. And when we finish with the Q&A, Adaora is going to hand back to myself, and we're going to have a closure by just taking you on the journey of ICF Nigeria. So at this point, I want to say a big thank you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so Adaora can take over. Thank you very much.
Wow. Well, Femi, thank you so much. I mean, I was like, who is he speaking about? I am so thankful for that very elaborate introduction. And I want to, first of all, appreciate the ICF Nigeria Charter Chapter dynamic board. They have been incredible and really have delivered value from the moment they came into office. So thank you to the ICF Nigeria Charter Chapter Board of Directors. I appreciate this opportunity to come and speak about a topic I'm very passionate about. I also want to recognize the board, the trustees that are here that support ICF Nigeria Chapter greatly. When I was president, I cannot, explain the amount of support we got from the trustees. So thank you. And most importantly, every single one of you that is investing time this evening to be here. I want to thank us all for creating time to share with us we're going to do some exchange here, right? So it's not just one way of speaking, but I'm really, really pleased to be sharing on the topic Coachpreneur, the key elements of a thriving coaching practice. And I welcome everyone from different parts of the globe. I can assure you, you're going to have an exciting time. And please be ready to share, because I always say sharing is caring. So you may have a business tip that could help somebody else here. All right. So we're going to be together for an hour. I'm meant to work within the time frame of 45 minutes for my presentation and 15 minutes for Q&A. So as Femi has said, you can keep your questions till the end or drop them in the chat box, and we'll take them as we go along. All right, fantastic. So Femi has already spoken about me, and I think he's done more than enough. I need to just move ahead and talk about our norms. How do we engage together? So first of all, I'd like to ask that we please bring a positive mood. I love the energy that Femi has started off with this evening. We want to keep that energy going.
Yeah.
So Efo, I think it's your voice I can hear. I recognize that Efo voice.
Burn.
So Femi, please let me know if you are able to mute those speaking? Or
So
if
I
should...
was going to mute all, but since you
Mhm.
said you wanted this to be interactive, I'm going to go into manual muting of individuals. Yeah.
All right.
So
Thank you so much.
by all means, whenever you want people to engage, please let me know.
All right, that's fine. Thank you. They can engage with the chat box for now. And then if we need to take anyone off mute, we can do that. Yeah. Awesome. So thank you, Femi. And so as I said, he started off on a fun. All right. Come with an open mind. Sorry, Femi, I was muted then. I was
That's
like,
correct. I had to mute
Yes.
everyone. So can I ask all the co-hosts to please unmute themselves? Tosin, can you unmute yourself so that you can help to do some admin in the background as well? Thank you so much.
Thank you. So as I've said, be ready to share so everyone learns. And of course, if you want to speak, just raise your hand. And I'm so pleased that we have, the education director and other members of the board. If I miss your hand up, someone can just, mention that we have someone who has something they want to share. And if there's any other norms that you think will make our time together, very, very productive, please just drop that in the chat box and I'll be happy to take that on. So what do we want to spend our time looking at? We're going to look at, in terms of content and objectives, what I've put together to help us remember very easily are what I would call the 4 Ps. Purpose. In other words, we want to start off by identifying how do we apply the ICF core competences, ICF values, ICF code of ethics in cultivating entrepreneurial skills for a successful coaching practice. I was so pleased when Femi started talking about, ICF code of ethics and core values, because that's who we are. We embody that. We're ambassadors for ICF. So we're going to look at our purpose and whether our purpose aligns with, this parent body of ours. And then, of course, our passion is the second P. We're going to list steps to determine your niche. So what is your passion? What fuels you, energizes you? We're going to look at that. Thirdly, we look at profit. I remember when I was ICF Nigeria president, and on the very first day when we were being inaugurated with the amazing other board members that I cannot, stop thanking God for. So I remember then I was given a talk to the coaches and I was asking questions and I sort of noticed that a lot of people were talking about the fact that, yes, I want to make an impact. I want to add value. I want to transform lives. And I said, fantastic. But at the same time, here as a board, we also want to support our members to make a profit from their businesses, okay? Because this is a profitable industry. And so how do we give value and get value as well? So we're going to look at profit. And then lastly, we're going to look at plan. That's the 4th P. And we're going to explain very briefly the components of a business plan. There are a lot of sayings around, if you want to build a house, you first of all have a plan. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, all kinds of cliches, but planning is critically important for a successful coachpreneur. Coachpreneur, coachpreneur, coachpreneur. What are we talking about? Let's look at some of these terms. So we all know what a coach is. A coach, based on ICF's definition of coaching, is a person who is certified according to the globally accepted standards of coaching. And this person, of course, as we know, partners with their clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that does what? That inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So we know what a coach is. So who is an entrepreneur then? Well, as it's stated on the screen, this is someone who actually starts. So you don't just have the concept in your mind, but you execute, you get started. And when you get started, there's so much to organize, especially if you're in the part of the world that we are here in Nigeria. There's a lot to organize. And then you need to manage that business. You're going to be taking on financial and other risks. But what is your objective? To make a profit. An entrepreneur makes a profit. I remember when I worked for a not-for-profit organization, and people used to say, we're not for profit. And I used to say, I agree, but we're also not for loss. So we just want to be able to do things, in a way that's adding value to our clients, but also we're getting value back by way of a profit. Now to what I call the cocoa, a coachpreneur. Who is this? A coachpreneur is a type of entrepreneur whose business is to provide coaching services, supporting clients to achieve personal, professional, and organizational goals. So there's a distinction here. An entrepreneur could be providing any kind of service, but a coachpreneur is specifically providing coaching services. So who would you rather be? Okay, because they're both involved in business, but there's a difference in the focus and the nature of the activity. And what is foundational to a coachpreneur is our ICF core competencies, because this transforms, it drives the transformation in our clients' personal and professional lives. So this is what it is. We're wearing a hat as a coachpreneur, a hat that embodies all the ICF core competencies, from ethical, presence. We are taking on the present. We're doing the listening. We're evoking awareness. We're cultivating trust and safety. We're, every aspect. We're facilitating growth. So why then is being a coach not sufficient? And the question is, must we all own businesses? Is this for me? One thing I will share, to be very honest, is that entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. It requires grit, pressure management, and of course, active marketing. I was sharing when I went to conference last year, I was speaking to a few other coaches, and we're talking about this aspect of marketing and how it can be so grueling and stressful. And I was telling them that, it's interesting because I have a friend who loves marketing. And I'm like, you love marketing? And she says, yes, that she has this mantra that after every 8 no's, after every 7 no's, she gets a yes. And so when she talks to one organization and they say no, she says, I'm getting closer to my yes. Talks to another one, no, I'm getting closer to my yes. And then she goes to the third one, oh, I'm getting closer to my yes. Whereas somebody else will be so frustrated that, how many no's am I going to get? I can't take this anymore. This is not for me. She has the mindset that I'm getting closer to my yes. So it really, really is not for the faint-hearted. Yeah. And so if you feel I can't deal with this, then there are several other alternatives to explore. You may want to work as a coaching provider or a contractor for a coaching company, or maybe even as an internal coach in an organization. Or you may want to partner with other coaches for joint client initiatives. But the point is, if you want to take on the full gamut of entrepreneurship, providing coaching services, then yes, this is who you will be. And so what does this mean? This means that there are 4 P's we need to pay attention to. Again, as I said, your purpose, your passion, your plan, and your profit. Purpose. The why. How will you determine if a coaching engagement was successful or not? It has to be aligned with your purpose, because there are some engagements that you will discontinue. So what is your purpose? We're going to look at that. Yeah. And then, of course, what's your passion? What fuels you? What inspires you? What helps you get out of bed every morning? We're going to look at that. Then, of course, the profits I spoke about earlier, the reward for the value you create. And then finally, the plan. Are there gaps to fill? And how do you go about filling them? So let's get started with the purpose. But before I move along, I want to check that I'm still connected, you can still hear me, and that we're still flowing. So please, I need some reactions. It could be a thumbs up if we're still flowing, a thumbs down if you're already tired, a heart, an emoji of some form, so I know that I'm still connected to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who's doing this. Lovely, thank you so much. Fantastic, thank you so much. Okay, great. Now, purpose is expressed in the why. Your raison d'etre. It's your reason and your determination to achieve. It's essentially your end goal for starting your coaching business. Why did you start this business in the first place? So in essence, you need to have clarity on your mission, your vision, and your values. Some people call it MVV, right? You need to be very clear on that. So your vision, have you sat down as a coachpreneur to articulate your vision? You know, as a woman of faith, there's a verse that I love so much, and I believe it's Habakkuk 2:2, and it really says, write down the vision, make it plain, that he may run who reads it. You need to have a vision. You need to know where you're going. Even if it's just in your head, please write it down. And then your mission. How do you get there? That desired end goal, that place that keeps you inspired, motivated, you know, makes you keep waking up every morning. How are you going to get there? What do you need to do and for whom? You need to have a mission statement. And there are a number of templates that you can use to craft a vision statement, simple one, to craft a mission statement. And then, of course, your value, your values, the quality drivers or the core principles that shape your actions and your activities to achieve your mission and vision. So this is key as a starting point for every coachpreneur. Where are we going? Who are we doing this for? And how are we going to go about doing it? You need to have clarity around that. Now, one thing that underpins how we go about doing what we do are the ICF Code of Ethics and Competencies. So once you have your mission, your vision, and your values, then please, you need to evaluate them in line with ICF's values and competencies, because we are an ambassador for ICF. And what does an ambassador do? There's a way an ambassador will talk, will behave, will have their comportment because of who we represent. So the question to ask when you're crafting your mission and your vision and your values is, does it embrace the ICF's values? So for example, ICF's values that Femi showed earlier: professionalism, collaboration, humanity, and equity. How does it align? So when I was looking at our values at EZ37 Solutions, and I thought about, partnership. Okay. I said, for us, partnership is a big aspect of our values. And it aligns with collaboration, integrity, and excellence. Aligns with professionalism. Another core value we have is people. We value people. We love dealing with people, whether they're vendors, whether they're clients, whether they're even employees, whether they're even applicants. And this aligns with the ICF core value of humanity. And then, of course, ICF also has a core value of equity. And so we believe in teamwork. Yeah. So what are your core values? And try doing this exercise as well, where you're seeing how it aligns with those of ICFs as well. So you need to also understand as a coachpreneur what your responsibilities are in terms of the code of ethics. So let me give you an example. You take on a virtual assistant. The virtual assistant has access to records. Your virtual assistant may be an external person, but ICF Code of Ethics has spoken about support personnel and the fact that they need to know the code of ethics. You hire people. Those people need to be trained on the code of ethics. So we need to understand that for our coaching business to thrive, we need to have a working understanding and knowledge of the code of ethics. Yeah, because a coaching business that doesn't have coaching mindset, doesn't have ethical practice, will not thrive. So again, you are an ambassador for ICF. And so your business needs to embody the ICF's values, code of ethics, and core competences. You know how they say, excuse, how is it? Ignorance is no excuse under the law. And so I know that even in our coaching certification program, there's, you know, a particular course where we talk about, even if you're using Alexa or you're using any of those technical assistants, yeah, and Siri or any of them, you need to be aware of all those, the impact of all those things, because the ICF Code of Ethics covers the use of technology. What about clients' data? Clients' data is very sensitive. You need to know that there are laws that govern how you store, how you keep, how you dispose of client data. So all of this code of ethics applies to you as a coachpreneur. Let's look at our P's. Passion. It means you're doing something positively impacting the people you come across by what you do. Some people have described passion as fuel, strong drive, intense feeling. It's the what. It can stem from activities that drives you or that you're most comfortable carrying out. So within the coaching industry, some of us have niches. Some people say, oh, I just coach everybody. But you know, sometimes you need to stand out. And sometimes there's some people that you want to coach them, you are energized when you coach them. I am a CEO. I am a leader of an organization. I know some of the challenges that I have to deal with and how, you know, my whole behavior piece can impact the whole culture of my organization. So I'm passionate about working with other leaders. What are you passionate about? So if we ask you the default, if we ask you the question about who are you, you probably say you're a coach, but you need to define your type of coach. And it stems from the passion you have for your niche. So I'll define what the niche is. And then I'd like to know if you can put in the chat box. Let's see if we have any specializations here with us this morning, afternoon, evening, depending on what time you're joining this call from. So a coaching niche is a specific target market within the coaching industry, a group of individuals sharing distinct demographics and psychographic characteristics that you can effectively coach. So what is your niche? Let me take a moment to pause while you put in the chat box your niche. Let's see who we have with us here this evening. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Steph Red, thank you. Self-re-engineering and communication, fantastic. Wow. Shade says business executives and owners. Child, executive transformation. I love these terms. Patricia says leadership and executive coaching. Wonderful. Shout out, Patricia. Emmanuel Michael says, wow, they're coming in so quickly. New leaders. Femi, help me if I miss any, please.
You missed one, and I was just going to say, you missed the very, very first one, and the one that I hold so dear to my heart. Healthcare clinicians and leaders. Wow.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. So you can see. Okay, let's get a few more in, Femi.
Okay.
So I can see Adeonju. My Adeonju. ICF Vice President for. Okay, fantastic. Can't afford to miss that. Female executives in transition. Femi, what do you see? What do you see?
I see Janet saying to us that executives, leadership, and high performance. And fantastic. I also notice Amira saying leadership, executive, and life coaching. And guess what? We had from Yewande, career and leadership coaching. Chidi said impact leadership coaching. I think we've covered Irene, but just in case if we didn't, trauma and transformational coaching. Now, that particular one, trauma and transformational coaching, I'd actually like one day, maybe we're going to invite Irene to come and talk to us about that trauma bit. Okay.
I think it'll be so well received for me. I think that's a fantastic idea. Absolutely. So I think you've given a subtle invitation there. So let's hope that she can take that, because we'd love to hear about that. I think we missed Tosin. Tosin says transition. I'm not sure we saw that. Mary says executive and team. And Abigail, F4 says startup businesses. Look at this. So we know what we want. And this is incredible. Akanimo, Presido, he says leadership, executive and team coaching. Tolu, preparing to pivot to executive retreat. Interesting. Tolu Akonde, thank you for that. And great to have you here. Fantastic. So how do we even find our niche? I'm sure it'd be interesting to know how people found their niche. But typically, we need to identify what we are passionate about. Yeah? What are we passionate about? We need to discover that. And then, of course, there's some things we have experience in. We have done over time, and we felt comfortable in that space. And then we need to understand the challenges of our ideal client. So we have some research to do. We have some work to do. When we have nicely identified what, really fuels and energizes us, we need to understand the specific and peculiar challenges of that niche. Now, I would love to go on and on, but of course we have limited time. So let's move on to profit. That part that a lot of coaches don't always talk about. And when we look at profit, I want us to look at a quick overview of the coaching industry, because sometimes some coaches are not really maximizing profit. And this is a profitable industry. Now, the data on the screen was taken from the 2023 ICF Global Coaching Survey. The executive summary has all of this, so it's available. This research was conducted by PricewaterhouseCoopers on behalf of ICF Global, and they've identified then that the coaching industry has grown 62% from 2019. So you can see there's growth going on. In fact, if you check online, you'll find out that it's the fastest growing industry after IT globally. The survey also revealed that it generates $4.564 billion globally. Please remember that I said this was then. Online coaching, for those of us who love being in the online space, is expected to be an $11.7 billion market by 2032. And of course, look at the number of coaches worldwide increasing. Why are people joining this industry, joining this profession? Because they know that there is money to be made. The average annual revenue income from coaching is estimated to have risen by 12% between 2019 and 2022 to $52,800. Please note, if you want to be in business, profit is the key determinant of your growth and success, not revenue. You may be making money, but that's not profit. When you take out all your expenses, you have your profit. Yeah? So profit is the engine that allows your passion to find expression, because some of this thing comes at a cost. And for it to be sustainable, there needs to be that engine. And that's what the profit is. It will encourage the pursuit of purpose, and it will help you to replicate your plan. So the coaching industry is huge. Let's look at some more data. Now, how much on average are coaching fees for 1 hour coaching sessions? And I know we have people joining from different parts of the world. So you may look at the part of the world that applies to you and think, does this sound real? Is this possible? Well, I'd love to hear from you in the chat box. But when we take the average across board, it tells us that an average fee reported for 1 hour coaching session is $244. How about hours per week on average? 11.9. Let's round it up to 12. Are you coaching 12 hours per week? If you're not, what's happening? What about your active clients? On average, they're 12.2 clients. So how many clients do you have right now? I know of people who have over 30. I'm like, wow, I don't know how they do it. But if you have less than 12, then, you may want to go back to the drawing board and look at, what do I need to do? So this table is a broader overview of the coaching industry for each continent. And so with this, you know what to expect from coaching, and you're able to better draw up a plan for a profitable, successful, sustainable, thriving coaching practice. Now, let's look at your pricing. Please note, you need to understand your industry trends. We've seen the various niches that are represented here. Some of us are operating within certain industries. Some industries, you may pay more than others. So you need to understand that so that you're not overcharging or undercharging. Then, of course, you must calculate your hourly rate. Please, you are delivering value. We need to just embrace the brilliance and the gift that coaching is. So we should calculate our hourly rate. If we're doing pro bono, we know we're doing pro bono, no problem. But if we are charging, what is it worth? And then for some of us, you may do packages. Yeah. But when you're doing your hourly rate, consider your expertise. We invest so much in becoming coaches. So look at all the qualifications. When you invest, there tends to be some return on investment expected. You have experience, and of course, you have a desired income level. So please set an hourly rate that reflects your value and your expertise. For some people, they may say, okay, if you take three sessions, I give you a discount, but typically it's my hourly rate. If you take 6 sessions, 9, 12, as the case may be, 18. So really just identify all of that, and it will really enable you to price appropriately. And there are so many online courses on how to price. So even if you're not sure, you can do Coursera, you can do HP Life for entrepreneurs, free courses on how to price your service business. But we need to do this. We need to do this, please. Before I move on, I'm just going to check. Okay, Femi, thank you.
So we have one question in chat. I don't know whether you want to note it now or whether you want to come back to it later on. And the question says, what does online coaching mean?
So Femi, please help me hold on to that.
Thank you.
So that we can take them all together. How does that sound?
Absolutely. That sounds great. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So having talked about pricing, now let's go to what's going to bring it all together, which is your plan. This is your how. How do you want to go about using your purpose to fuel your passion to bring about a profit? Your plan refers to the actions that you can replicate over and over to accomplish your goal. So I'm curious to know, please, can you put in chat, how many of us here has a business plan? Please put in chat, I have a plan I use, or I have a plan I do not use. But this is a safe space. I love being around coaches because we can be as vulnerable and open and as authentic as we need to be.
And you've got the responses flooding in now. And the first one is from yours truly. I'm not going to mention her name, but she said, I do.
Beautiful. I trust your due. I trust our honorable VP. Fantastic. Excellent. Super.
And we got someone who said somewhat. And guess what? Not that I want to steal your thunder, but the reality of a plan is plans are never fixed. So once you start your plans grow. So when you said somewhat, that's a plan.
Exactly. It's a live document, isn't it?
Okay, I have one person who said, I do not. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to be talking about that later. One person said, do I need to write down my plan? Wow, what a big question. Hold that thought. That's a coaching question. We'll come to that soon.
I love that, Femi. Nicely
great.
put. Yes, yes, a nice coaching question.
Oh, we got someone who said, I do. And it changes often too. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Back to you now.
Thank you. Okay. I see one more that just come in, Femi. Do you want to take that?
Well, the latest one that's come in said, I need to concretize my plan. Guess what? For our beloved who said that, you know what? They're in the right place. This session this evening is the starting point to concretize that plan.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, for some of us, we've had a plan, but this may be, you know, a wake-up call for us to concretize our plan, to take it off the shelf, dust it off, and get it as a working document. We may need to, as Amalara says, review it and update it. You will not build your nice house without a plan. How do you want to build your coaching business without a plan? So what is this business plan? Right? So thank you to everyone who responded there. It's simply a strategic tool that helps you streamline your ideas into your short-term and your long-term objectives, right? It's a roadmap. So you can check it out and say, oh, how am I doing? Okay, marketing, I said I'm going to do this. Okay, now for my IT, I said I was going to do this. Okay, for my HR, I said, yes, I was going to get in people, do background checks. What have I done? It's a roadmap document. And it focuses on the specific steps you need to succeed in business. Yeah. I tell you, there are people who are able to wing it and they do well without a plan. I started my coaching business with a plan. And I started my business in its entirety with a plan. By the time I got to my coaching business, I did another plan. And I tell you, like you rightfully said, Femi, it's something that we go back to and we tweak and we tweak. But it really gave me, you know, the direction, the clarity of certain things to pay attention to. So a business plan helps you build a process to accomplish your intended goal. It's not just having a wish. Why do you even need it? You will discover the potential of your business idea. When you have a business plan, you will see the potential. Because by the time you start putting down, okay, how many hours a week do I want to work? You can now say, oh, do I actually have this time? Or let me look at my cash flow. Is this realistic? You have much better clarity. It also helps you to understand your competition because it's a part of the plan that asks you to do some research. What is your competition doing? Do you need to collaborate? I remember Adaora Ayoade, who used to say, look, coaches, we need to work together. So what are the opportunities to work together? With even the competition, co-opetition, some people call it. It helps you to determine your team, determine your financial need, manage your risks. I spoke about ICF Code of Ethics that governs everything that we do. And of course, what about if you want investors? Hey, do you know how much some of those coaching platforms are worth? How much you were able to attract? Hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions. There's a lot of potential. So if you want your investors, potential to investors to look at your business, then you need to have a plan. So we have about 10 minutes to go. And I'll just quickly take us through some components of the plan. Okay, we have just 6 components. The first one is your executive summary. So here is basically your purpose and the goals you intend to achieve. We've spoken about mission, vision, values already, so I'm not going to go there. The next one is your business description. Now, some of us are solopreneurs, if I call it that, sole proprietors, which means it's just us. The day we decide to take a vacation, business stops. Some of us are partnerships. We have a partnership. Liability still falls on us, the partners. Or some of us have a limited liability company. Your chosen business structure must be well researched. And then consider what has worked for other coaches in your industry. This is very important because you need to, if you're serious about having a coaching business and being a coachpreneur, you need to have a legal entity because things like tax, all of those will come into play. Yeah, some people call it going concern. So what is your business structure? Understand the overview of your industry, describe your company, services. What are those services you want to offer? Then you need to look at your operations. This is going to cover your people and your processes. Because you're dealing with such sensitive information, I am a big advocate for background checks. I won't subscribe to taking anybody into anyone's business without doing a check on that person. So you need to do your people due diligence. You need to look at your processes. Do you have standard operating procedures? What technology are you using? Now you have AI, generative AI, open AI. How are you utilizing it? There's so many ways you can use technology to streamline your processes and make things a lot easier and seamless. Yeah, I spoke earlier about being aware of the use of technology, yeah, and the code that governs that. If you look at your core, your ethical standards, section 1, number 7B, and so on, you'll see all of this there. Target market. Who is your target market? You may want to take time out to do like a persona. Who is my ideal person? Where are they? What do they like? You know, develop a SWOT analysis to know how you can attract, engage, and retain your clients. As coaches, we talk about being self-aware. So do a SWOT analysis so that you can have that awareness. What are your strengths? What are the weaknesses that are internal to your business? What's within your control? Your opportunities? What are your threats external to your control? We need to do this. The other 3 components of a business plan, sales and marketing. Marketing obviously is getting people interested in your service, where sales are those activities that lead to the selling of your service. You need to have a robust and tight plan for effective marketing. So at Easy 37 Solutions, for example, I know when it comes to marketing, My partner, Coach Patricia, would say, we must have something consistent across the board. And I remember years ago, I was doing some work with, I think, Microsoft, and somebody had come, to the engagement and had done a photocopy of one of, the photocopy of their logo, and they freaked out. They said, no, we cannot photocopy our logo because each color stands for something. So when it comes to sales and marketing, how will people recognize your business? Anywhere they see your logo, they know this is you. Human resources, again, we've spoken about that earlier. And I'll just mention that you need to have clear expectations. If you have people that are supporting you or working for you, please have job descriptions. Let people understand what's expected of them. Then what about leadership? If you are serious about structuring your business, you may want to have a board. You can either have a former board of directors, or you could even have an advisory board. For some people running a business, at times you're like, what do I have to think about now? I don't know. But guess what? You can have an advisory board. Yeah. So people are so resourceful. You are so resourceful. Let's tap into that resourcefulness. All right. Finally, financials. Please, please, please. We've spoken about pricing earlier. I just want to mention that have a way of separating your personal finance from your business finance. Very, very key. Open a proper corporate current account. Pay yourself a salary. Even if you're not making the money, you put on business. Business owes me. I know when I started my business was owing me. By the time I was ready to collect, I collected correct. So pay yourself a salary. And then separate your receipts, put yourself on a budget, educate your employees and your partners. Please track your expenses. And whatever you do, be compliant. Be compliant. Be compliant. Very, very key. Your VAT, your payee, insurance, you may consider, professional indemnity, whatever you need to protect yourself and protect your clients. So who are these high value clients that can support us? Now that we know that we're going to have a plan, who are they? How do we get them? Firstly, I will say, pay attention to your executive presence and your personal branding. Where possible, network, collaborate. For those of you who are members of an ICF chapter, I say, well done. Network, collaborate. Social media. If you're not good with social media, you can get somebody to support you. Continuous learning and development. There's no end to learning. There's a saying that the room that is the largest that never gets filled is that of learning. There's always room for more learning. Leverage feedback. If you've done good work for someone, don't feel, I need to be humble. Yes, we are humble as coaches, but let the world know about this wonderful opportunity that they can tap into. And so leverage your testimonials. When you ask people for feedback, if you use Google Forms or whatever tools you use, you can ask, please, can I use your feedback as a testimonial? And let them give you feedback. And then you utilize it where you can. And then, of course, your customer relationship management. Have the data of your people that you engage with, you attract them. Keep that information when you attract them. Continuously find ways to engage and retain them. It's easier to retain a client than to go looking for a new one. You can continue to add value and to exchange value. So you really need to prioritize client retention and repeat business. So in summary, the two quotes I really wanted to share with us, I thought they sort of brought it all together. And the first is by Jack Welch. And he says, good business leaders create a vision. They articulate the vision. They know where they're going. And they passionately own the vision and they relentlessly drive it to completion. The second quote is by Abraham Lincoln. He says, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. When you plan, you have done almost 50% of the work. So, with all that said, we're going and we're stepping into second half of 2024. We want to work smarter, not harder. So, number 1, please, let's do this. Secondly, execute your idea. Once you've brushed off your plan, concretized your plan, developed your plan, execute it. And then guess what? Live your brilliance, because you are brilliant. So live it, believe it, and shine that brilliance for the world to see. When I started, Femi spoke about a couple of publications that I have, and one of which I am so honored to have been a co-contributor to is The World of Coaching and African Experience. It's a book by the ICF Nigeria Charter Chapter. And it was as a result of collaboration, teamwork, and a lot of love. This book, my chapter in there speaks to the 4 Ps. I have revised one of those Ps a little bit and expanded it a bit more. But in there, you can see the 4 Ps. So if you haven't got a copy of The World of Coaching and African Experience, you may want to do that. And if you want to take things a notch higher, the ICF Level 2 coaching program allows you to do that. And so we have a program that, as a Level 2 program, also encapsulates entrepreneurship, because we understand you need to go out there and turn this passion into profit, even as you're adding value. So our Level 2 program does that. We also have a program that talks about launching a successful coaching business with a lot of benefits that takes us into a deeper dive. We've spent 45 minutes today. We can't go above that. So if you want more, there's that opportunity, and would love to support you with that. So when we started this journey together, and I thank everyone who has stayed with us till the end, we said that we were going to look at purpose. We're going to identify how to apply ICF core competencies, ICF values, and ICF code of ethics in cultivating our entrepreneurial skills for a successful coaching practice. We said we were going to look at the second P, passion, and list the steps to help you determine your niche. We also said we're going to look at profit and determine, is this industry profitable? And finally, we said we're going to touch on the 4th P, which is the plan. And we're going to explain the components of a business plan. So just before we dive into Q&A, can I just check with us? Do we feel we're able to do justice to what we started out planning to do today? If you think we did, I would love to get some reaction from you. And if you think we didn't, then please still give us a reaction and let us know so that we can take this conversation off the call.
Here he goes. Watch this. Child said, oh, yes. Omolara said yes with 12 essays and lovely sprinkled eyes. Absolutely. Thumbs up. Wow. Look at all the reactions coming in. Now I feel jealous. I'm going to now give you my reactions as well. How about that?
Thank you, Femi.
Wow.
Thank you.
Absolutely eye-opening. And guess what, Adaora? Do you know, just like you will do in a coaching session, when you set the goal right from the outset, you know, you got your focus. What was striking was how at the very end, you now brought it back into alignment. You now brought the 4 Ps back. Now, is anyone here who thinks that their goal right from the outset was not met at the end? I.e., who's got any misalignment? Now's your chance. Chance to realign. Going, gone. In actual fact, I've given you all the opportunity to unmute yourselves. Can you please try and make sure that you can unmute? Because we've got a good 15 minutes for interaction, questions, and you know. So we had one question in chat. Oak Agility, are you able to unmute yourself and let's see whether it works? Chrissy.
Yes, it does work,
fantastic.
and I will
Great.
come in here real quick. Adaora, thank you so much for such a wonderful session. It's been really insightful.
Thank you,
So I was just
Chrissy.
curious to, as a clarification question, to just get a bit more insight on what we mean by online coaching, right? It could be interpreted for many things. Is it just me and the client across another part of the world and we are having this, or is it something else? So I was just curious if you could elaborate more on what online coaching is. means.
Oh,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
So okay, you're most welcome, and thank you for the question, because sometimes, we in coaching say we don't want to have any assumptions. So thank you for asking that. And so it typically is referring to, or I'm referring to, coaching in the virtual space. So yes, on any of the virtual platforms whatsoever. So it is coaching in the virtual space. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Kofi.
Just before we take the next question, I've just noticed that a few people are dropping off. Don't go yet. That was part 1. In typical Nollywood style, part 2 is coming soon. So don't leave, because the best is yet to come. Questions and answers. Keep them coming. Who's got the next question? Yes.
I also want to mention questions and answers, but also comments. You may have
Absolutely.
something that is working for you and that you want to share here. You may have something that, inspired you to going into your own niche that you want to share here. So if you have any insights, we're very generous people, coaches. So let's share. Yes.
So I think I mentioned that much earlier on as well when I said observation. So it's not just about questions. It's about thought. It's about, maybe we need to just chill out for 1 minute of self-awareness.
Absolutely.
If you boost the image of President Tinubu in that zone,
Somebody speaking?
I don't talking of Nigerians. Otherwise, they say the region will be thrown into further chaos.
So this is the point that I don't usually do this. So tonight will be the first time if I ever have to do it. So after a minute's reflection, and people have probably had the opportunity to tap into their inner minds and still probably have 1 or 2 things they want to share. This is the point that we would like anyone to please volunteer, come off mute, and just share whatever thought they had in that brief moment of silence.
And Femi, please, as they're doing that, also don't forget to scroll up a little bit. I see there's a question right at the top. So, yeah.
So reminds me of when I was in primary school. I'm sure I've told that story to someone before. I wrote a question and I gave it to the teacher of the class, and the teacher gave it back to me and asked me to read the question again. And I kept looking at it and I couldn't see anything wrong. And guess what? The teacher just didn't say a word and just asked me to keep staring at it until I found out what I didn't do. Can I ask someone to go on mute for us, please? I wrote the question. I didn't put a question mark at the end. So, great opportunity. Now, I'm going to do this then. I'm going to call on one of my dear... Oh, we got a question. Just because she knew that I was going to call on there or her name.
Oh, no.
So let me stop share so we can spotlight Adeonju. We need to spotlight her. Yeah, she's a personal person.
Adaora,
Hi,
thank you so much, for this. I wish you had shared this when I was starting out. But my question is, how do you mentioned earlier that being an entrepreneur and of course morphing into a coachpreneur, you need to have grit. But how do you stay on the path when it feels like nothing is happening, or things are really tough and all of that? Because I mean, there are seasons or seasonalities. So how do you stay on that path?
So Adeoju, thank you so much for that question. And I think different things for different people, right? So different things energize us. For some people, it's interesting, but tapping into others, right? And I remember, and I shared this at the start, for me, I have a board. And there are times I just call them. I'm like, you know what? I am not doing that appraisal for that person because I don't know what else to say or do. Can you join into the appraisals? Yeah, I'll join in. And I'm like, thank you so much. You know, so I utilize people because, like I said, for me, they're the greatest assets. So you may have a functional, proper board structure, or you may have an advisory board, or you may have the trustees, or you may have people, you know, but for me, it has always been people. And I tap it. That's what energizes me. For some people, they will rather just recline and go into seclusion, go for a walk, take a break, do something, different things for different people. For me, it's tapping into our board. I have found it to be, having those wise people there. I consider them. So that's what has worked.
Wow, what a fantastic response.
Thank
A big
you.
round of applause to Adaora and also to Adeyanju for asking that question. I have one question in chat, if I may read that out to you. Hi, Adaora. Is it possible to share rates in the Nigeria environment? Over to you.
Okay, so I know that, there are some rates that were shared in the ICF, the book that we did for ICF Nigeria. We did a survey, but you see, the thing is, things are changing. So I don't want to quote the dollar, and because for me, the dollar is our benchmark. We are global. We pay our dues in dollars. We trained and paid the dollars. And so if I'm going to quote my pricing, I base it on dollars. So what I would say is that to be very honest with you, I use the ICF Global Coaching Study as a benchmark. And I believe for Africa, because they've put Africa and the Middle East together, I believe it's $165. So I start there. So even if I need to go lower, I'll put that, okay, we're giving you a discount on this. We're giving you a discount on this, but I will start there. Okay. And if you want quality, if you want value, then you have to pay for it. But a lot of times we also have to feel confident to be able to ask for those prices. So you have different categories of clients that can pay based on their industry, based on who is paying. Is it the company? Is it the individual? Is it the sponsor? If it's a sponsor, then you may have more of a chance for them to pay top dollar for their leaders or their executives or their employees who they feel are high potentials. So it really depends on who is paying. But for the Nigerian environment, I don't consider whether it's Nigeria. I consider what is the global benchmark for my region, and I start there. And then I then tweak as I need to go along.
Awesome. Thank you. We've got a hand raised, but I will come to Janet momentarily. Before that, I want to invite Irene. If Irene, are you still on the call? We had a comment from you. I don't know whether you want to, interact verbally or whether you just prefer if I was to read it out. Irene. Okay, not in a safe space. Thank you. So what Irene shared with us was that this has been really insightful and enlightening. Thank you very much for such a succinct presentation. She went on to say that she's still in solopreneur phase, but she's gleaned a lot of insight for her next steps. Now, it was not a question, it's more of an attestation, a confirmation. But is there anything you want to add to what's been shared there?
Okay, so Femi, I must have missed her post. So she's a solopreneur and she would like to transition to what type of business structure?
So what it says is she didn't actually elaborate on what she has in her plan, but all she said, and what grabbed my attention was she actually knows where she is right now, i.e. solopreneur phase. Now, when someone tells me that they are in a phase, what does that tell me? It means that they've got a plan and they've broken it down into various phases, so they know where they're going. So she's not shared where she's going, but we know she's going somewhere. But she went on to say that she's gleaned a lot of insight for her next steps. So I find that quite powerful.
Beautiful.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So this is the point that we're now going to ask Janet to come up with a question. I've spotlighted you.
Janet.
Welcome, Janet.
Adaora!
Hi.
It was great working during your dispensation.
Oh, it was
Adaora, thank you
wonderful.
so much for that
Thank you.
fantastic, insightful presentation. It really did break it down a lot for us. But my quick question really is, at what point in your business did you decide to come up with a board? And how did you select the board members? And for many of us, the issue would be sitting allowance for this board. I know advisory board, if you have good friends, you don't have to pay them, but there's that, I mean, that place where they may want to be remunerated. So just to let us know when and how.
Okay, so the interesting thing, thank you, Janet, for that question, is that I started off the business with my partner, Coach Patricia. So we registered the business together, and then along the journey, we recognized that, you know, we don't have the financial acumen to be able to run the financial side of the business as we should. So that was when we then reached out to somebody who had that, you know, that acumen, exactly, the background to come on board. So what I would say was, I didn't start there. I just started the little way I could. Invite somebody, continue along the journey, then reach out to somebody else. And so what typically happens is there are some rules around the board. So things like, you know what, because of voting, have it like an odd number. You may want to get people who have certain specializations that they can bring to the table to add value to you. So it doesn't have to be created in one day. Now, allowance. I can tell you that sometimes our sitting allowance can be as low as 50K. Sometimes some people will return it and say, I'm just here for you now. Don't worry, you've given me tea and coffee. I'm fine. So I didn't go the way like you contact IOD and say, can you give me some really high profile people? So it depends on your reason for constituting a board. For some people, they do it because they really want that profile. And so they bring on board people who they just want the name to say, I have this person on my board. So if that is your reason for bringing somebody, then yes, you may have to cough out some good sitting allowance. But my own was mainly for advisory, that I know the limits of what I know. So I need help in certain specialization, you know, areas. And so that was it. So as you go along, you can reconstitute your board. You can reconstitute your board as you go along. And that's basically what I did.
What's the minimum number we should start with?
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
maybe
you.
3. Yeah. But Jana, I know you're also with IOD. So you can get all this, yeah. So you're currently asking these questions.
At a high cost.
You're a member now, so there's
at a high cost.
Okay. Thank you, Janice. Now we've got time for 2 more questions, and that will be a good wrap. Amira has asked a question. At what point do I have to specialize in coaching career? That's question 1. Question 2, does it have to be at the onset? Or one can practice coaching and gradually build momentum and eventually study deeper and specialize?
So I think, Amira, I'm not sure if you are a certified coach, but I think that if you're not, please start your training. Be a certified coach before you offer coaching services. You need to be, so you need to have that. That's why. Thank you, Amira, for sharing that. Please, ICF Nigeria is here. They'll link you up. You need to be a certified professional coach before you offer services, because then it gives you the credibility. It gives you the, as we say in Nigeria, the mouth to talk and to charge. So you need to be qualified. You wouldn't go to a doctor who is not qualified. You wouldn't go to an accountant who is not qualified. You wouldn't go to a lawyer who is not qualified. So why should anybody come to a coach who is not qualified? And that's what distinguishes ICF coaches from all those myriad of people, that's causing so much market confusion and dilution when it comes to coaching. So please be a qualified, certified professional coach through the ICF route.
Thank you. So I would have said our time is up and that's a wrap, but I cannot say that because my presido has asked a question. And if I don't want to be dethroned, I have to field my Presido's question. Here's what he had to say. I need to earn dollars in my coaching practice. His eye don't read. Any tips from you?
Presido. First of all, you are a Presido. Secondly, you're a professional certified coach. Thirdly, you went to a reputable coaching institution. Fourthly, you are aligned with a global body, the gold standard. And I could go on and on. So we need to own it. And we need to benchmark ourselves based on who we are and the value we offer. It doesn't mean it will come immediately. No. I didn't, like I'm saying, I'm benchmarking. I didn't start here. Of course not. I know how many free sessions I gave before I got to this point. But by the time I got to a certain point, I said, okay, I'll rather do fewer hours at my value than just to be working around the clock. So, Presido, you are well qualified to be able to deliver value and get value. You are a globally certified coach. So we don't need to limit ourselves to any particular denomination. Naira, whatever. People use the dollar because it is like a benchmark. It is more stable. And it's a currency in which we pay our dues, etc. We get trained in. So why not? So, Presido, please, let's go for it.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I'm driving. Adaora, I guess I was asking more in terms of those online platforms where you could provide coaching services and then the clients abroad will pay you directly, not necessarily Nigerian clients who, even if they benchmark, will pay me in Naira. Yeah, that's what I...
Yeah, okay. Thank you for clarifying that. There are a lot of those platforms and they need coaches. One thing, when I joined some of those platforms, I joined as an ACC coach. Now I heard some of them are particular. They want you to be a professional certified with PCC, but there are those. And then I had to drop off some. I said, look, I'm sorry, I don't have the time. I don't want to leave my Nigerian corporate clients because I'm spending so much time. So I had to streamline it. But the point is, Akanimo, those coaching platforms will grab you. They will grab you. It's a case of applying to them, uploading your certificate, uploading your credentials, and you have an interview. They'll ask about your coaching style, your coaching philosophy, your coaching model and values, and so put your net out there. Put your net out there. There are quite a lot of them. Coach Hub, Better Up, Thrive, Right Smart, Modern Health. There are a lot of them. And they pay in dollars.
Thank you so much. So here we are. We started about an hour and a bit ago. If I had my wish would be for this evening not to end. Unfortunately, I can't have it my way. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start to wrap up now. Please do not hesitate to be in touch with ICF Nigeria wherever you are on your coaching journey. What's interesting is Adaora has highlighted the fact that credentialing is very important. I wouldn't say it's the most important thing. I would say it's very important. But here's one fact that we all have to bear in mind. Wherever we are, whoever we are as coaches, we are on a journey towards excellence. Some of us are on the journey towards credentialing. Some of us are already credentialed and looking to grow as a coach. Some of us are taking active steps towards renewing our credential, while some are heading towards upgrading from ACC to PCC, from PCC to MCC, and some are looking at ACTC. Now, I just want to check, do I still have Tosin Akode on the call? Tosin, are you still here? Let me check. Oh, Tosin has had to drop off. He's based out in the US. But I just wanted to acknowledge him because around about a week ago, he got his MCC. And I was speaking to him over the weekend and he was sharing some wisdom, some nuggets of how the journey was like for him. So this is my challenge to all the PCCs in the house. No pressure, please. But when? I think we've got about 10, at least 10 PCCs here in ICF Nigeria Charter Chapter. No pressure, but I'm waiting. I want to celebrate with you. I want to drink that champagne. Think about it. When you achieve your goal, as we ask our coaching clients, how would you celebrate? And that enables us to keep an eye on the goal. Yeah, start celebrating before you even earn it. So I want to just thank everyone for joining us this evening. I want to particularly highlight the fact that you are not alone. You're just an email away from ICF Nigeria Charter Chapter. Whatever need you have, Education Department is there to support you. Whether you want to actually gain some insights into how do I go about this journey, we are there to support you. Now, I'm not going to mention names, but one of my dearest co-coaches reached out to me just a few days ago to say, Coach Femi, I've got my ACC. I've been looking forward to it. But I have a question for you. How do I start recording my CCE units? And they actually chatted to me online on one of these chat lines saying, oh, can you just tell me how to do it? I said, no, I can't tell you just how to do it. Do you have time? Let's get on Zoom. We got on Zoom. After about an hour, they said, wow, I never knew it was this intensive.
Hello.
So can someone go on mute for me, please? Thank you. So this is one of the things that the Education Department is there to do, to support you on your journey. Whether you have questions about, please, I want to start my credentialing journey. Now, I would like to add one thing, safe space. Whatever you discuss with us directly is held in the highest and the strictest of confidence. We talked about ICF values, ethics, and competencies earlier on, and we do not take them lightly. So when you come to us in strictest of confidence, I shared the contact that I had over the weekend because there wasn't anything confidential about it. They were actually basking in their glory of certification. And now they've actually recorded a few of their CCEUs, even though they still have a whole 3 years to go about it. So if you want to find out how do I actually get the best coaching training organization, how do I actually prepare for my performance evaluation? That's another big area. The recordings. And then there's also the credentialing exam. All of them are within our remit to actually help you on your journey. So if there's anything else that we haven't covered in this conversation, please kindly drop an email to the email address on the screen, and please keep the conversation going. Coming next is July. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so that we can actually have sight of everyone. And can I on-spotlight myself? Do I have Coach Kwesi still on the call or in the house? Kwesi, are you there?
I'm still here, Coach Femi.
Is your camera on?
It is now.
Let me see. It is now. Coming soon. If you haven't seen or heard from Coach Kwesi before, we got a date coming up soon. I'm not going to tell you when. Coming soon. Who else have we got coming soon? In the summer months, July, August, it's a little bit lighter touch. But we will give you advance notification of what's coming so that you can be prepared for registration. Now, finally from me, I want to particularly appreciate everyone who's joined us from outside of ICF Nigerian Charter Chapter, all our long-standing guests who support us every step of the way. We appreciate you, and we look forward to having you at the next event. Now, for those who want to have their CCEU certificates, I think that's what it's called, please bear with us. We're trying out an automated system following this event. So bear with us, please. You will get them. If you don't get your CCEUs after about a month, you've got the email address of education@icfnigeria.org. Kindly drop us a line and we will get the certificates to you. But I can assure you that will not happen. So I'm just going to say we got 1 minute for Mr. President. What do you have to say?
Thanks for putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
So, Adaora, Coach Adaora, thank you so much. I felt your passion even while I was driving. And thanks for your humility, your experience, your insight, and all that you shared so passionately. I think one of my own biggest takeaways was that thing about alignment with values. And yes, I need to have up my plan and write it down and not keep it in my head. So, but really, this has been an event I've been looking forward to, and you ticked all the boxes. So thank you very much. Great insight, and I look forward to see Coach Kwesi and hearing from him in July. But Adaora, thanks so much for your time and your investment and all you do for ICF and the coaching practice.
Thank you
Not
so
July, dates
much for the
to be
opportunity. Thank you.
confirmed.
No
Yeah?
problem.
Dates to be confirmed pretty soon. Thank you. So this is the point that we're going to give Coach Adaora a big round of applause in whichever way you want to appreciate her. Please kindly do so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
We got all
Thank
the
you too.
chats
Thank
coming in now.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all.
Adaora, are you blushing? Are you
Mentor,
blushing?
my mentor's here. My
Yes,
mentor's
she's
here.
blushing.
Yes, so my mentors, TA,
She's
Ade,
blushing.
thank you all so much for the opportunity to share. I truly appreciate it. Femi,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you all so much. So I'm
Thank
just
you.
going to ask for the board of directors of ICF Nigeria Charter Chapter, together with Adaora, to please stay behind while everyone takes their leave of us. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.